All right, so what we went through with this athlete was this is a javelin or a throwing athlete, and they were having trouble with when he was going to like get to this point in his throw and going to pull against that front leg, his just the lower left side of his back just did not feel good. Like he couldn't actually get through the throw here in the way that he wanted to, and you can see it there collapsing a decent amount just because he didn't feel like he could get into a good position and pull from it, because like that is what it looked like. And he sent me this video as like this is what he would ideally want to look and feel like. Is you can see that when he gets more into that landing position, he's able to create more space and more separation and be able to actually like create force out of that and pull with that front side. So like that versus this right here where that front side collapses. And the reason that was happening was because like pain in the left lower side of his back. So that's what we were starting with. And what I want to go through here is how it can take a little bit of time sometimes to figure things out and get to what does work. Because this is some of what we started with. We're torso impulses. You can see examples here where he's impulsing in the middle of his body, moves up, and then he impulses at the front of his body. So these are some exercises that I'll use just for ability to output force at the torso. And specifically, I was thinking like, okay, if he's having trouble with kind of like a quick impact when he goes to pull through in his throw, these are going to be good for that. Initially, this is a text on April 13th. We started January, February, March. We started about 2 weeks before this. So me went pretty well. Back felt better than it has. Still not completely there. So we had some good response or some good progress at the start with some work like that, as well as we were doing a full training session. But we're going to talk specifically about the back. And then you can see here, this is 2 days after that. He was just letting me know that he actually got booted out of his team. Or got booted from his next meet. So we were, he's ready to go to work. And he was before, but that was just like a little bit of extra. But that was basically because like he wasn't able to throw as far as he could with the back thing that was going on. So we started to work in some different moves, work in some different exercises to see what we could do to fully kind of complete that process. And so these are some examples of what we did. Overhead barbell holds, getting into different positions. And again, my thought process here was basically like, if he's having trouble or pain in that left lower side of the back as he goes to pull through, let's do some of these. Let's see if we can really kind of fatigue through everything so that we stimulate it to come back stronger. So the 15th, he missed 1 week of meets, and the next week he was back in, and this is his feedback from that meet. So this was in between that time. But he says here, meet did not go very well, frustrating because physically it feels far better than last year, and also technical understanding is much better. But the back pain is still pretty bad, and it's only when he hits his block. He's like, can sprint pain-free. Only thing from holding him back from his personal best is like that pain in the lower side back when he goes to hit it. Like get some decent positions, but I can't even force myself to like create force out of there basically. And then he mentioned got his championship conference next Monday. Plan on staying away from throwing. And so basically like, let's see what we can do in terms of rehab to figure it out. So these, again, they did not go that well or really work that well. Maybe they helped to build something up like to where it did work a little bit later, but as kind of like, hey, I have a meet right now and we need to get this to work. These weren't all that successful. So again, just want to point that out that this is how things go sometimes, right? And this is basically what coaching, what training, what rehab is, right? So got that. I kind of looked into some different things that I thought like, okay, how can we really stimulate that area? And then he said, basically like the two that I was thinking, and I'll show these a little bit later. Reverse glute hammer rotation rope DC, directly hit the spot, rotation overcoming isometric, also hit the spot. So we found some stuff that really actually did stimulate it. And this isn't either of those, but this is another example of something that we did where it's basically like, let's drop off a box into a position similar to what you'd land in, and you're going to try to like yank or pull back into that position to build confidence there. We did that for high volume. Then also, I don't have a video of him doing this, but this is the reverse glute ham rotation DC. So this is one of the ones that he said he felt it hit it really well, where it's just like from deep in that position where he was trying to rotate out of with the impulse. Like this is why I'm such a big fan of impulse or high impact work, is because like that happens in sport, and so we need to be able to train and put your body in similar situations when we're doing stuff like this. So this was one of the ones that he felt helped him the most. And we actually, I don't have a picture or anything of this, but we actually started to, on the day of his championship meet, this is his feedback from it. Heyman had an 11-foot PR today and took third at the conference championship. Just want to say thank you for all your help. Let's keep it going and build off that momentum. So, on the morning of this meet, we actually did these at a fairly high, at like a high intensity. We did like a 30 to 40 minute workout or training session, and we'd explored with that before because he said he felt better after those. But that's like, again, this is just problem solving within rehab, problem solving within training or coaching. Is like there is no really set rules on anything. Like some dudes don't like to work out, some guys do like to work out before. It just depends, right? And so that is like step one for me on my end was like finding the exercise or finding what is it that actually hits it and stimulates it in a good way. And then on top of that, I was like, okay, he feels really good and activated or ready to go after he does a training session. So let's now include that on the same day as your meet on the morning of it, and then put these exercises in there and then allow him to feel better. Now, I will say I don't think I have it on here, but text after this is basically like his first throw. This is the actual throw or his PR throw. He PR'd on his first throw, and that one felt the best. After that, the back started to feel a little bit, right? So it's not like this process is done. It's not like this process is complete. All I wanted to show here is that we were able to get a result, and that's basically like the steps or process that we went through to get the result, all the ups and downs that were included in that. But then also keeping in mind, like, again, the feedback here was this is my first throw. Felt really good. As I threw more, it didn't feel quite as good. So like I said, there's still room to work and progress to be had, but it's cool to go through that process, get a result, and then we can continue building on that.